when you look at the wealthy people, not just in Nigeria, all over the world, real estate is the largest backup of their assets. There is no way you can put a price on it. When it comes to the amount of assets owned by the British Empire, they own one of the largest real estate in the world. The return is usually higher. Of course, everything also depends on the scale of operation.
This is Mr. Hakeem. He is the founder of AFAB Limited. In 2024, I documented his entry into Nigeria's agro-processing industry. And today, he is diversifying into real estate.
Why would I want to buy a Lekki house for 250 million naira? If a property is costing you more than what is giving you, then it's a liability. It is so funny how things work differently depending on where you are. In abroad, you really do not require that much capital to go into real estate. I'm not saying in all cases, but in some cases, you even be so surprised that things are more expensive here in Nigeria going into real estate compared to outside the country. Because outside the country, as long as you have a good job where you can use that as a collateral and then they look at your salary that you'll be able to pay your mortgage, you are good to go. Before you know it, you have more than one property. So here in Nigeria, we don't have such.
This is not your regular kind of estate. AFAB Real Estate is centered on land ownership in a strategic, accessible location. What happens on the land is left to the owner. Around it, farming and production are already in motion. That context brings agriculture and land ownership into the same space.
Land is one of the best investments. You can use it for so many purposes. Renting, farming, even in some cases, depends on where your land is located. You have people that they are willing to build a temporary factory on your property and then they'll be paying you every month for it. There are endless opportunities for you on that property while the property is also appreciating, as long as you buy strategically. And that's why our farms or our land is connected to the main road and we have amenities around it.
So today on the Legacy Level series, we are sharing his story. I am Danica Kosy, and if you are watching this video, you are part of the Mogul tribe. Most people only see businesses at a point of launch, but behind every business is series of decisions, structure, timing, and capital, including risk. So today I am documenting AFAB Nigeria Limited, a business that started in the agro-processing industry and is now expanding into real estate. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a nice comment. I am here with the founder of AFAB. Of course, I know that a lot of you on the channel already know him, but for those of you who does not know him, so I will ask him to introduce himself again. So can you tell us about yourself?
Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Hakeem Aremo. Yeah. Today, we are adding a little bit to our portfolio, our existing portfolio, our agribusiness. So today, we are launching our real estate, farmland, residential, as well as commercial real estate for those that are interested.
So why did you decide to expand, from agro-processing and then, dive into real estate?
This is an expansion for us. This is not like a Lekki type of a deal where we tell you come and buy 150 million houses and we're building houses. No, this is not one of those. But we are showcasing this to the general public and inviting everyone to come and participate in what we are already doing. So it's an expansion of our existing agribusiness.
So can you tell them the location of this place?
So currently we are located at Ilorin East. This is the headquarters of Ilorin East local government in Kwara State. And the actual name of this place is Badio Kioyi, Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria.
Oh, wow. All right. So you guys, this place is actually very accessible. If you listen very well, show them so they can see the express. So we are standing right by the express. It is very, very accessible. So, and of course, I know that because of the recent insecurity and everything in Nigeria, a lot of you might be worried. So I would like him to tell us about, is this place safe?
Yes, this place is very, very safe. That's why the slogan of this state is called Harmony, Home of Peace.
Okay.
This is town. And this is, as you can see, this is the expressway. So, and the police station is a few minutes away. You have the teaching hospital, you have the NNPC. Those are the landmarks. Those are the amenities that makes this place to be highly valuable. And we've been here since the last 6 years. We've never had any kind of security challenge or anything that we have to be worried about. And that's why we are still doing business here. So it's not a matter of just selling land and leaving. No, we are here. We have our factory here, as you will later see, and you see activities going on. We are still farming here. We are also leasing some of our lands for those that are interested in leasing if they don't want to buy. You may be hearing one or two insecurity or some challenges, some security challenges in the outskirts of Kwara State. For the most part, it's not something that's happening in the town. This, we're talking about the boundary of Kwara State and, connecting to another state like Kogi State and perhaps Ekiti State. But those are isolated incidents, not something that is going on in the town. In addition to the landmarks, it's a few minutes away from the Kwara State Polytechnic. This same road connects to the Kwara State Polytechnic. And there's also another university that is coming up here. So this area is vastly developing, and it would definitely appreciate for anyone that is interested in purchasing it for appreciation purposes or for investment purposes. We've had some real estate companies approach us whereby they only want to acquire some portion of our land and use it for residential purposes only. So people can buy 5 acres and then they can name it their own estate and use it for residential. Also, it is also suitable for someone that is interested in commercial aspect, like filling station. You can see it's connected to the express. If you want to set up a filling station, you want to set up a storage business. If you don't want to go into primary production of agri, if you just want to have some agro-processing business, if you want to go into like poultry, livestock, so you also have that option. So there is really no limitation. There are no restrictions. So it's very open for all businesses.
So let's talk about AFAB. What do you have to say about AFAB?
Well, AFAB today is a diversified business operating across agro-processing, auto sales, real estate, with a focus on structural system and long-term value.
All right, so many people say that real estate is a very lucrative business and investment to go into. How true is that?
Yes, this is absolutely true because when you look at the wealthy people, not just in Nigeria, all over the world, real estate is one of the, should I say, it's the largest backup of their assets. There is no way you can put a price on it when it comes to the amount of assets owned by the British Empire today. Okay. They own one of the largest real estate in the world. Now
that you are now into real estate and you were into agro-processing before, so which would you say is more lucrative between real estate and agro-processing?
I would say the return is usually higher with real estate. Agro-processing, the volume at which you operate and the return is faster, but not as much as the return that you will get when you compare it to real estate. Of course, everything also depends on the scale of operation. So, but for us, that's what I can say for now, based on our experience and the scale at which we are currently operating.
At what point does it become a liability instead of an investment?
I personally, this may not apply to everyone. When I think about my own international real estate experience and Nigerian real estate experience, I would say it becomes a liability when it falls below your liability. What I mean by liability is the finance that you use in acquiring the real estate itself or the property itself, because it's very broad. Let's say you have a rental property now, and you factor the amount of the cost of putting the building in place, and then you look at the return that you are generating, let's say from the tenant, that are occupying it. Now I'm using Nigerian system because you're not getting the money from bank compared to outside the country, whereby you can calculate everything easily. So when you consider inflation and you consider the amount of money you put in upfront, and you're actually not getting paid, or you're not getting the expected return. Not only that, you have your capital being tied, and you are really you are not breaking even. But not just that, but also you are not getting any cash flow from tenants. To me, it's a liability. That's what I would call it in Nigerian standard of today, of how rental property works. You may feel satisfied that you have the property. At least you can say, this is what I own. But the question is, are you truly, getting any money from it? Is it providing you the cash flow?
So what about those that might argue that the land will appreciate or something? Like whenever they want to sell it, they might have to sell it at a higher price.
Very good question. And that's why I use property as an example.
Okay.
We are now really into rental properties. That's why I prefer land.
Okay.
So when we speak of liability, I personally, considering the current inflation of building materials, labors, and everything, inflation does not really affect land as much as it affects building. I think land is the best form of real estate for right now, because when you have landed properties, you have the options or the opportunities of using it for any purpose that you like, and it may not really cost you, that much compared to rental properties or putting a building up. So land at every point in time always appreciate. The growth or the level of appreciation may be more in some cases than the other, depending on the location and the amenities within that environment. That's one of the reasons we are going into landed properties as our own real estate aspect for right now.
So I know that everybody that is watching this video who might be interested might want to know the documents available. So what documentation do you have available for the land, and what is in process, if there is anything that is still in?
Yes, we have C of O in view. So meaning that currently the C of O is in progress. But currently, if you are acquiring any land from us, you're getting your receipt, you're getting your deed of assignment. The land is already surveyed, which is a general survey on the land. However, you have the option of also doing your own C of O separately. And then also you get the legal document from our lawyer. We have our professionals on board. We have our surveyor. We have our lawyer. That's what you get from us when you when you purchase the land from us. Land, let me say, being one of the factors of production whereby it requires a lot of funds or resources. That's where most people money will have to go into. So we started this real estate journey to make it easier for people to be able to, for us to encourage them to come into agri-business. We are into aquaculture. So if you're thinking about catfish, you can still do that here. Meaning that any aspect of agriculture that you are planning on doing, you can do that in this area. So what gives birth to this is the motivation from the agribusiness itself. And the land is only a part of that agribusiness that we are currently into.
Anything like land dispute?
We've never had that challenge. There is no land dispute. We don't have any encroachment problem. We've been here since the last 5-6 years. I've never seen any kind of land dispute issue. Even when we were buying from the Magaji, the Bale, the traditional rulers, they always make it known to us. If we see any area that we are interested in, they usually just tell us if it's been sold or acquired previously, so they won't sell it to us.
You are into real estate abroad, right? So how much do you think someone realistically can have before they say, okay, they want to go into real estate as, let's say, a full-time source of income? It
is so funny how things work differently depending on where you are. In abroad, you really do not require that much capital to go into real estate. In some cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but in some cases, you even be so surprised that things are more expensive here in Nigeria.
Okay.
going into real estate compared to outside the country. Because outside the country, it's more of what you call like a collateral. In some cases, they may require like 3-5% down payment before you can go into real estate, whereby the bank will just finance the rest.
Okay.
So as long as you have a good job where you can use that as a collateral, and then they look at your salary that you'll be able to pay your mortgage, you are good to go. So you acquire one, and then once you're paying really good, then you acquire another one. Before you know it, you have more than one properties and you can have tenants there. So that's how the system operates today. But here in Nigeria, we don't have such.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, I would say, let's say hypothetically speaking, you have like 1 million naira, and then you are into real estate in Nigeria. You are basically buying land, and the land, you have to make a decision how you want to be generating your income. And farmland is the best. There is no anywhere in Nigeria you can buy any property now, any type of landed property or residential property for 1 million naira. Or even if you're holding 2 million naira and you expect to be getting a return, you cannot get any return. They will tell you it's like a joke. But with the type of real estate that we are operating, farmland, you can still be getting a return, and you are into real estate. So you are getting multiple benefits. One, some people can be farming on it. Two, you yourself can be farming on that land, and you are getting return, or you can lease it out. So there are endless opportunities for you on that property, while the property is also appreciating and development is coming to that area. As long as you buy strategically, that's why we consider road access, and that's why our farms or our lands is connected to the main road, and we have amenities around it, because development will catch up with that area.
So how do you think somebody can legally protect themselves if they want to acquire land in Nigeria?
Don't cheat yourself.
Okay.
And I will say this because we don't tend to pay professionals or give them their flowers. Let me put it this way. A lot of us, we like shortcuts, or we do things on the basis of trust only, or we do things out of emotions. The best way to protect yourself is pay the lawyers the legal fees. Do your basic due diligence. Even after doing that, still pay the legal fees. Let them do the land research to make sure that this land is not government owned. Because any property, you cannot win the government. So that's the most important thing. And then make sure that you have your document. After paying the lawyers and you're able to get surveyor involved to make sure that your land is properly mapped and surveyed, the next thing, make sure that those documents are with you and it's oath in the court. Because it's one thing to have all the documents between the buyer and the seller. It's another thing for those documents to be properly registered with the government, because sometimes people don't know that the payments can be different for all those services. They think, they just pay one and that's the end of it. Deed of assignment is one of the documents that you should make sure that you should have. It basically shows the agreement between the buyer and the seller, and it will indicate the names and everything, and as well as price and the location of the land. Also, survey is another document, and also you have CFO. In most cases, if the land is sold by company, you have memorandum of understanding, you have receipt, which will show as a proof of payment. And most importantly, if you pay, you keep your own bank receipt as well, in case you have to use that as a reference.
This person, since the last 3 years, he only received documents. So even if it is something that they will scam you, understand, document only will not prevent you from scamming you, but the land goes all the way here to Express. In the last 3 years, they gave me money. And I told him, I said, you people will be complaining about Nigeria, that you scam, but you have to verify things.
Before you
Even after paying, I understand you trust. but also you have to verify.
It's true.
You know, so they did it on the basis of trust, and we never betrayed their trust.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's great. So what do you think is the biggest lie people believe about real estate in Nigeria?
They think it's a quick, rich scheme.
Okay.
Whereby it's like buying and selling.
Okay.
And you can, it's just like commodities where you can easily just buy and sell and you make money very quickly. Some people, they have these things they call like real estate trading, like Bitcoin, as if you just, you're doing some.
Alright.
I don't know how it works.
Okay.
You know, I don't know how it works, but to me, I've been in real estate for a while, and not just only in Nigeria, but outside Nigeria. It's a lie. It's a way of wasting your money. And for those that believe in it, a lot of times when the bubble bursts, that's when they come out and start dragging themselves and start crying. Because if you are buying a concept or you are buying just receipts from all these companies and they say you are only trading, but most of these companies don't have the actual land, they don't have the properties, or even you yourself, they only give you document and you don't have any representative showing you the land. There is no physical allocation. And they are sending you money every month. Okay. It's like buying shares, or what do you call it, dividends, and they are sending you money that you are making profit every month. But they're getting from some people to pay you. So until things happens and you realize that you don't have any land. So to me, that's the biggest lie that I've heard about this trading type of a deal, because they're just using your money to do business. And you're really doing business, and it's not really real estate that you are doing, because real estate has a slow growth. I repeat, the appreciation or the return from real estate is usually slow. But in the end, for those that are patient or those that buy strategically, they will tell you that it is worth it, because you will get the bulk or you get the money, you know, when your appreciation kicks in.
Wow. So now let's talk about land holding, like for people that buy land, you know, and keep and all of that. So when do you think it is the right time to sell off a land, or how do you think someone can know the right time to sell a land instead of holding it or keeping it?
Yes, real estate works just like most other businesses on the basis of demand and supply.
Okay.
You look at your financial need as well as a person. I have properties that they are appreciating really fine. I don't have to sell them. I don't have to touch them because it's like a chicken laying eggs. So if I can get the eggs, why sell off the chicken? Okay. So for me, if you are not in urgent need of money, or if you are not in any financial distress, don't sell your real estate.
Oh, wow.
Don't sell your land. It will keep appreciating. But if you have the ones that you are not using and you can diversify the money into something else, of course, sell it and use it to make more money. So you are basically not selling it to squander the money, but you are basically multiplying your money by considering other areas. So that one is one reason to sell. If it makes sense for you to sell, you sell. On the other hand, if you feel like the bubble is about to burst, then you can also sell, which it doesn't happen that frequently here in Nigeria. In outside Nigeria, in the US, there's something, the real estate can be seasonal. For instance, I will use COVID as example. During COVID, people that are experienced or that own real estate outside the country, they will tell you prices of real estate was very high. It jumped up to 50% in some places. Wow. So let's say you bought your property for 1 million, and suddenly now you're at 50% appreciation. Wow. Just within, 1 year. And people were looking for houses and they could not find. For people that wants to take further risk, they kept holding it and being greedy and refused to sell.
Okay.
For those that are experienced, let me put it this way, or for some people that they don't want to take too much risk and they don't mind selling, They sold and they made a lot of money. I sold during COVID and I knew how much I bought the property. I sold and I made very good money. So you make a decision about when is the best time to sell. But in my own opinion and with my own little experience, I think if a property is costing you more than what is giving you, then it's a liability and it's time to get rid of it, just like every other bad business. Or if it's costing you arms and legs, or if your interest rate or the amount that you're paying bank is way more than what the property itself worth, to the extent that it's costing you your livelihood. Or why would I want to buy Lekki house for 250 million naira or 150 million naira, and then you have to go and get loan?
Billion.
Exactly, 1.5 billion in some cases.
Yeah.
Whereby, I can have 1-2 million naira and I can still get into real estate, at least without you having to go to bank and you have sleepless nights. And at the end of the day, you still end up losing the other one because you can't afford it in the first place. If your land is located in a very good place and they're able to find network, you have all these telephone companies like Glo, MTN, they'll put their mass on it. They'll put their network mass on it and they pay you every month a very huge amount of money. And they put all these in strategic places all around, especially rural areas.
Wow. So what advice would you give to someone who would like to go into real estate, let's say in Nigeria or even outside?
I would strongly encourage it. But learn the fundamentals, learn the principles, and don't expect that it's going to be something you get rich quickly. It takes time. Real estate takes time. And then calculate your risk very well. Do your due diligence and buy from the right people. Once again, buy from the right people, especially when you have a company that you've done, a credible company that you've done your research and see the type of relationship that the company have with the community and within that area and the type of people they're working with. Just like we are working with Danica, we will not want to disappoint ourselves, let alone disappointing her, because partnership and networking means a lot to us.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Right. So if you would like to patronize or get any land from AFAB Real Estate, so everything you need will be in the description. The contact, the price, and all of that will be in the description box for you guys to go through it and know what you want. Definitely, I am going to get my own land there. All right, I do hope you guys enjoyed that video you just watched now. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share this video, and of course, leave a nice comment. We'll see you all in the next one. Bye. I love you guys.